You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Extreme Weight Loss After Show.
I need to do some sit-ups. Every time I hear this song, it's the first thing I think about. Hello, we are here for another episode of AFTERBUZZ TV Extreme Weight Loss Edition. Today's episode is about our good buddy David, who I think I just fall in love with everybody. I fall in love every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, I have just this connection with all of them. An emotional roller coaster.
Emotional roller coaster. I am your host, Morgan Martin, and
I'm Jackie Powell.
And of course, we are so excited to be talking about David's transformation. I mean, he was 413 pounds.
Yeah, he was really big, 413 pounds, but he did have a lot of baggage. So, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of baggage that I obviously attribute to the weight with so many of the people that come onto the show. But first, I don't even want to start on the bad side of things. I have to start off with the first thing that I loved about David was him and Kayla and just their relationship. And she clearly is a ride or die.
I was just going to say that. I was like, she's definitely a ride or die chick. I love that she stuck with him through the whole process of him gaining the weight, and she was right by his side the whole time. So, yeah, definitely ride or die chick that girl is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I think that, she was a huge motivator for him from the very beginning because all he kept talking about, and of course we'll get to the end, but all he kept talking about was that I want to be the man that she wants me to be and be able to be comfortable around her and all of these things, because you could just see how much he loved her and she loved him, but the weight always gets in the middle of everything.
Yeah, I love how expressive he was and how expressive she was with him, and that the relationship, like you said, she really motivated him. And I think we see week after week there has to be something that gets people to be motivated. And for him, it was definitely Kayla. He wanted to do it for her, and the fact that she was there for him really helped him throughout the whole process, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think really just going through, the most difficult thing that he had to overcome was, he had some really huge deaths in his family that he attributed a lot to himself. First starting off with his younger brother, who actually, he left at home because he wanted to go out and party, and he went out and, they were playing Guns and Robbers, and one brother accidentally shot the other. And I think because of him, he just kept saying, he felt so responsible.
Yeah, I throughout watching the show, I was just like, that's a tremendous amount of just weight for anybody to really hold on to. And I really felt for him because, I can only imagine being in that position and choosing to go out and hang out with friends. I would feel responsible too. And then not only that, I think it was 6 months later, him falling asleep and forgetting to give his sister medication. She has seizures, and he forgot to give her medication, and then she passes away. Yeah. That is just one thing after another, and a tremendous amount of weight of just thinking that it's your fault, guilt. So I can only imagine him having to carry that for so long.
Yeah. And he was young too. He was only it was right after high school, or in high school, around the time that all these things happened. And, so when you're in that mindset and you're so young, of course, the first thing you think about is, man, all of this is my fault, or if I had done this differently, and you have so much guilt. But, at the end of the day, even if things were different on his end, that doesn't necessarily mean that the other end of it was going to be any different. But of course, he held on to that, and that's where a lot of the weight gain and the things really started to happen.
Yeah, I really like Chris's fight or flight challenge where they walked up to the stairs and he used the weights. He symbolized 3 35-pound weights each, and that was 114 pounds of what the goal was. Chris gave him a goal to lose 114 pounds for the first 90 days, and so the first fight or flight challenge was to walk up the stairs with that 114-pound weight, and it was awesome. He went up the stairs with the first 35 pounds, and Chris was pushing him, saying, what would you say to your brother and sister? And he was just like, I'm sorry. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. And then he went back down the stairs, and he had the 2 separate 35-pound weights. And he was like, this one's for my brother. This one's for my sister, which I thought was so awesome. It really symbolized just everything that he had been going through. Yeah. And he put both the weights on, walked up the stairs, and it was a moment for him to just release that guilt and pressure. He said, unload all the guilt and shame. That's what that meant for him. So I really like that. Once again, Chris knows exactly what to do to really hit the problem with the people that he works with, and the fight or flight was definitely a moment for him to just release all that pressure.
Yeah, and I think what was so cool about that moment is that it was almost as if he had an easier time when he had both of the vests on him than when he initially started and only had the one. And I think that was the trigger point of like, okay, I know why I'm doing this. I know what I need to do to tap into like my extra superpower, and it is to pretty much dedicate. He dedicated that whole workout to his brother and his sister, which I thought was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and he even said when he got to the top that it was harder for him to actually take off the weights because it symbolized so much for him than the actual workout. Kudos to him, because those stairs looked something serious.
Do you think you could climb up those stairs? I was looking like, absolutely not.
They were very steep. No. I don't think I could do it. I'd probably quit halfway through. Who knows? So,
David, our hat goes off to you because could not do that at all. But, I mean, he had a really tough time in the beginning. I mean, he... You know, you could tell he was motivated. He was going through it, and then he started to run into some scares along the way.
Yeah, what did you think in phase 1? What were your thoughts when that scare that he could possibly have a heart attack?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those scary moments, especially because they're in this facility. You know, they show them all the tests that they run through before they even allow the person to even touch the fitness floor, because they want to make sure that they're good. So obviously all the precautionary things were taken into place, but that's a scary thing to even hear, that you may be having an acute heart attack. But I think the fact that it wasn't, but because it came so close to being that, I think that scared him even more. So he was like, all right, I need to kick it up a notch even more.
Well, the good news, it wasn't a heart attack. And I think she said something about it was just a sign of showing that he was an athlete.
Yeah, well, yeah, because she was basically saying that his heart, because it was transforming, it actually was transforming to actually operate the way an athlete would.
Nuts.
So he's got that inner athlete in him. We saw a lot of that.
Oh yeah. You start, and then Chris puts him in a ring with a UFC fighter, and I don't know about you, but I mean, that's what he likes to do. He loves watching UFC, but to go in there while you're losing weight, but with an actual UFC fighter and be like, okay, ding, ding, ding. That was nerve-wracking for me. I was nervous for him.
Heck no. I mean, what did you think? Did you think he was actually going to fare well? Because, I mean, he looked terrified.
He looked really terrified. I thought that he was actually going to run out and be like, I'm not ready for this, but I give him props because he literally went in the ring and was like, all right, let's go. And he was throwing some jabs.
Yeah, he was.
And I don't know if you guys remember, there was that one moment where the UFC fighter literally like jumped up and flew and like punched him in the face. After that moment, I'd been like, tap, tap, tap. Come on in. Yeah. But he really went through it and finished the fight. So it was awesome. He did pretty good. What do you think?
He did. I mean, I think that even symbolized him as a fighter. Because even when it was done, I mean, he was getting knocked after knock after knock after knock. And he got out the ring. And, you know, I was anticipating him to be like, look, I'm clearly not ready for this. I need some more work. But he was like, yo, that was fun. Like, I got some work to do. Like, I see what I need. And he was like eager to like get back in the ring and all of these things. So I think it was really motivating for him just to be like, okay, I got knocked around a bit. And he almost kind of made fun of himself a little bit, which was cool.
But what did you think about the UFC fighter? He said, you know, no mercy. I'm going to go all in. I thought maybe he would take it a little easy on him, but he said no. He's like, no mercy.
Heck no. He's like, I'm on TV too. I'm not about to not about to look crazy. This is my job.
Oh my goodness. And then he ended up with another I guess you want to call it another hurdle when he tore a ligament in his foot. Like, I feel like this man never got a break in phase 1.
No, he really didn't. On top of the fact that he, not only did he tear ligaments, of all the ankle things that can happen, they said that this happens to maybe 5% of people. Right. So it's just like, you know, this poor guy, he's trying so hard, and he just began, you could see how overwhelmed he was, because I think, once again, it was something that was just like knocking him down when he's trying to do the right thing, which I think is kind of probably what he's felt like his whole entire life. Like, trying to do the right thing, one little mess up, and the next thing you know, you're just completely out.
Yeah, what I like, though, is, I mean, he did get very emotional, but for me, it just showed that he was all in, and that he was just like, this sucks. I tore this ligament, and I'm just getting my life on track. Right? I feel like some people would be like, okay, I needed a break, or, you know, whatever it be. But I just like that I really saw his passion there in that moment, that he was just like, man, I want to keep working out. So I like that part.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, I mean, he went through a lot in the first 90 days, and he got down to 295 pounds. His goal was to lose 114. He lost 118, even with the torn ligaments and all the different things. So kudos to David in the first 90.
Yeah, absolutely. He looked really good too. And then for his transformation, he was like, Chris obviously gave him the whole makeover, and he even said, he was like, I'm pretty metrosexual. I don't mind getting my nails done and toes done. And then he came out with his red pants. He looked really good.
He was swagged out. What do you think about men getting mani-pedis? I mean, he was pretty excited about that.
I think all men should get manis and pedis. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's good, because men have rough feet, I think. So I think kudos to any man that's willing to look good for their girls.
And there was no shame in his game.
No.
He was all about it. So we have so many more things to dive into. But before I do, I just want to remind all of you to go ahead and tune into iTunes, rate, comment, 5 stars. If you love us, listen to it. It only takes a minute. Tell your friends, so we can keep them going.
And let's chat. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you comment below, and let's talk about it. What did you guys think about tonight's episode?
Because there's a lot going on.
There was a lot going on.
I mean, so we go from there, and then, of course, we go into phase 2. Phase 2 is always my favorite, because they actually get to go back home, and so you really start to see the real them in the midst of them trying to change.
Right. Phase 2 is always a difficult phase, because you go back home, and it's real life. You're not hold accountable, you know, by Heidi or Chris. You're back at home, job, girlfriend, old habits, and it's really about overcoming, I think. I think this is the time for you really to do it yourself and overcome whatever obstacles you have. So phase 2 is the hardest.
And for him going back, I mean, he is a chef. I don't know about you, but when I cook, I probably eat more while I'm making the food than when it's actually put out. So I can only imagine the struggleville it must be to go and be making these delicious meals for people that you know you probably can't eat 75% of what you're preparing.
I think I would struggle with that a little bit. I would want to taste test everything. Absolutely.
Yeah, super struggle. But he was welcomed with open arms by his family, by his restaurant, and of course, Kayla.
We love love stories. You and I, we just love it with we just love a happy ending.
We really do.
But yeah, it was awesome. She was shocked. She hasn't seen him in 3 months. He is like half his size, it seems like to me. And he walked out, and her eyes were teary. He looked good, and it was an awesome just reunion to see her reaction for seeing him for the first time.
Yeah. And one of my favorite moments was when they brought out his old jacket, the big, 5X?
5X.
And then to present him with his new chef jacket, which was a 1X.
1X.
Which is a huge gap.
Yeah. 5X to 1X, that's... You moved down 4 sizes. You know? It was awesome. And after that, after we saw that, him and Kayla were standing in front of the mirror, and she was like hugging him, and she was like, where did you go? For the first time, she could actually reach around him and give him a hug. So he definitely dropped major sizes, only in phase 2.
Yeah.
3 months down.
Yeah. And one of my favorite things, he said, I feel like we're just dating all over again.
Yeah. And it's different. I mean, I can only imagine. You could see him over the time just building his confidence, smiling more, walking around with his head held high. And just that moment where they were just standing in the mirror, I think was huge for him, just being able to, he even said, for the first time, standing with her with his shirt off and feeling comfortable. So I'm sure that was just great just for their relationship.
Yeah, that's gotta be a huge moment to be able to feel confident, you know, with the woman you love for the first time in such a long time. But I think it's interesting that I think he saw himself differently than the way that she saw him, even over the course of the last 7 years that they were together.
Yeah, it was definitely a good moment. But like we said before, you're like, going back home is a challenging time, and it's definitely a recipe for disaster.
Ooh.
But he didn't struggle with eating, but he did struggle. He got a promotion, which was awesome. He came back, he got a promotion, but with the promotion, takes more time. He was working 6 days a week and 12 hours per shift. So it was hard for him to balance work and exercising.
Yeah.
So that's where he kind of hiccuped a little bit with his weight.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, he talked about how he really said he was fighting for his life. And you could see even Kayla was concerned in that moment of like, how is he going to balance and manage all of these things? Because it was, I mean, stress and being tired can definitely, you hold weight because of that. So even as hard as he was working out, you saw him waking up at the crack of dawn, even before, sitting in his car before the gym even opened.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're putting that much stress on your body and trying to fit it into everyday life, it becomes really, really difficult.
Yeah, I think what is good though, Chris on every episode, he gives them a home gym, which is really cool and convenient for them, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's easier having a gym at your house than having to travel to the gym.
Yeah.
So I think that also helps.
Yeah, that's so true. What did you think? 'Cause I know you're a big UFC fan. Yeah. I'm watching, like, I have no idea why she's so excited. No, I'm just kidding. No, it was amazing. What was that like for you, even watching like that part of the episode with the fighting?
Well, for me, I am a huge UFC fan. If you guys watched Ronda Rousey last week, she totally killed it. 16 seconds, just saying, love her. But it was really cool. I'm a UFC fan. He was able to actually go to the UFC, like in Vegas, and watch it. That had to be an awesome moment for him, especially if he has dreams to be a UFC fighter. And it was cool just that he was in front row with all the celebrities and all the professional UFC fighters with open arms. I thought that was awesome that they were able to do that for him. And with that being said,
dun, dun, dun.
The fact that they gave him the 6-month mile marker to actually get in a ring with a professional UFC fighter, kudos to David, because I would have been like, you want me to do what? Come again? Would you, I mean, what would you do?
First of all, I'm only 5 feet tall, so it would take nothing. They would stick their leg up and step on me, and then I'd be done. But I think for him, I think it was, even in my mind when they said that, I was like, David, don't do it. Yeah. But when he heard it, he was like, this is awesome. It's insane, but this is awesome. And I mean, that's his dream. I mean, he's not only to be able to be outside of the ring and to watch the fight and be buddy-buddy with Michael Bisping, but then the very next day to have to fight with him.
What did you think, though? For me, I felt like he was taking it easy on him. But what do you think?
No, I mean, come on. The guy, I mean, this is what he does for a living. So, yes, on TV show, David won. But I think if this was like the real deal and like, you know, it was on the line, we love you to pieces, David, but it's Michael Bisping. What do you mean?
But I think, you know, when they were fighting, he did a really good job. He actually got him on his back. And I think that moment was real. I don't think Michael let him do that just to win. I really think that David did get him on his back.
Yeah.
As far as the whole entire fight, I think he definitely was a little easy on him, like letting him hit him in the face a couple times.
Right.
But I think, honestly, I think David honestly got Michael on his back.
Yeah. No, I think it's a difference between, like, you know, when brothers fight and wrestle each other.
Yeah.
It's more of like, I'm not really trying to kill you, but I do want to show you, like, look, you're not messing with somebody.
Yeah.
Versus when they're really in the ring and, like, you know, money and a title is on the line. That's a whole different scenario.
But all in all, I think I give props to David for even getting in the ring with him. Because that had to, he even said, he was like, I was about to puke. I would have been freaked out. If they told me to get in the ring with Rhonda, I would say, absolutely not. Rhonda, nice to meet you. I love you. I'm out of here. I would not get in a ring with Rhonda. I don't care. I would chicken out.
Well, you know what? David puked a lot throughout this episode.
Yeah,
so for him to puke would not be anything new.
Yeah, but kudos to him. David, you did a good job. I'm proud of you. I would have chickened out, and I'm glad you stuck through it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was really cool to see. They went 3 rounds. He won 2 of the rounds. Of course, he came out
Victorious.
the big winning champ. But not only in that, he also was victorious just throughout the whole process as well, just continuing to lose pound after pound after pound after pound.
Yeah, in phase 3, he lost. He missed his goal.
He did.
He did miss his goal, but he lost 26 pounds. And at this point, he looks great. He didn't make his mark, but he lost 26 pounds.
Yeah.
So I think he was a winner.
I know.
And that, yeah.
I don't know, maybe, and I have to ask you this too, maybe I'm just a softie, but every time I watch that and somebody misses their goal, but they lose like some crazy amount of pounds that like some of us, you know, could probably not even lose any year. So it's like, yeah, you only lost 25 pounds in 3 months and you're supposed to lose 30. I mean, every time I'm just like, really, give him a break. Maybe that's just me being soft. I don't know.
I think when you are doing these, like, you know, transformations, these goals are really important to keep pushing on. So it's kind of like, if you don't make your goal, you're sad. But I agree with you. At the end of the day, you're losing weight. You're half of your size by now. So if I miss my goal by 5 or 6, I already lost 120 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm definitely happy. So, but yeah, I agree with you. They're a little harsh on it sometimes, but
I know.
You're losing weight. You're losing weight.
But I know that's a show, and that's why they do what they do, and I do what I do, which is fun. But so, I mean, just going into phase 3, this is when, you know, lovey-dovey moments just escalate even more, and we actually get to see him go ring shopping.
Oh, I know. That was really exciting. And I think he did a really great job. He picked out a really big ring. You could see it they didn't even have to zoom in.
No.
It was a rock. It was like this thick.
Yeah, good job, David.
Yeah, but it was definitely a moment for him. For 7 years they've been together, and he never felt like he was worthy of being with her. And I think it just was a part of the transformation. He was ready. He was like, I feel finally like I can be the man that she deserves.
Yeah.
So ring shopping was a big milestone for him.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's so interesting as we watch episode after episode of all these people. It's one of the things that you fail to realize how much weight carries in the lives of people in terms of like their confidence and the things that they want to do and being able to really pursue their dreams and their relationships or whatever the case may be in so many areas. And this was like the one thing that was really holding him back.
Yeah, it's crazy watching, you know, episode by episode and all the things that, you know, being overweight kind of hinders these people from doing. I mean, I think he could have proposed to her years ago. She loves him, but for him, he didn't feel like he was the man that she deserved. But yeah, I mean, I was happy that at the end of the day, he made that decision and he kind of stepped up and was like, I'm ready.
Yep, he was. And phase 3, it was just like he was a complete changed person. From the beginning. I mean, he did end up getting the skin removal surgery. And at the doctors, they said when he first started, he was 49.2, he had 49.2% fat, and he dropped it all the way down to 17.7.
Dude, that's nuts. That's so much.
That's a lot.
And you could tell, like, his stomach, normally when people lose all that weight, they have a lot of excess skin.
He didn't have that.
But he didn't really have that at all. His stomach, there wasn't a lot of skin there. His stomach was pretty flat.
Yeah.
So I can imagine after the skin removal how good he looked.
Yeah.
You know what I don't like about the show? Well, not that I don't like about the show, but I wish they would show them after the skin removal.
Yeah.
They never show after the skin removal. It's just
That's
at
true.
the finale and the final look.
Yeah.
But I kind of wish they would show what they look like afterwards. Or is
I
that
agree.
uncomfortable for them? I don't know.
No, I would think that'd be the most comfortable, because for him specifically, that was one of the things. He was like, I've got this chest that's like flapping around and all this different things. He was like, and it makes him feel like not manly. Like, so for him, it was so much more important than just cosmetically looking good, but it was also part of his confidence. Like, you know, I don't want to look like this. I want to be tight and chiseled and
masculine.
And no, I think not only that, I think it's actually really visibly showing all of the hard work, because when you still have all that skin, it's covering up your muscle. So it's like, I'm doing all this work, but like now I just got stuff hanging off of me. Like, nobody wants that, but I think that is really important for people to be able to see, and for them to be able to show off.
Yeah, right. Like, look at my nice new body.
I'm just curious what that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, my mom, too, I told you before that she had gastric bypass, and she had all that excess skin, and she wasn't really confident. Losing that weight is huge, but at the end of the day, when you take off your clothes, you're still insecure because you have all that excess skin. And it wasn't until after she had surgery where she was just like, oh, like, she could walk her swimsuit, the short shorts, you know? And she felt confident after that. So the skin removal is a big deal. That's why I wish they would show it on the show. A little bit more.
They're hearing us, and maybe they'll throw that in there. Season 5, right around the corner.
Yeah, you have to show that final transformation with the surgery and all.
But see, but that's why I think also sometimes we keep going weight loss, weight loss, weight loss, weight loss. But I mean, I know he didn't hit his goal in phase 3, but his body fat percentage changed so much.
Yeah,
so
it was intense.
muscle weighs more than fat. So sometimes I'm like, I don't really know if that's the best gauge all the time.
Yeah, and you could see he kind of flexed on him a little bit, and he was like cut. He had major muscles.
He's really handsome. Good job, Kayla. You did good.
He did good. Yeah, he had that nice little smile he has.
You did good.
But also in phase 3, it wasn't only the skin surgery and everything. This is the time where we see him actually sit down with his parents and have a conversation for the first time. What did you think about him just getting open about, you know, all this guilt that he held on for years?
I think that's hard. I mean, I think it's probably something that none of them really wanted to talk to. It's so much easier not to talk about it. And it seems like maybe even the mom, the dad, and the other brother, you know, because they're, you know, they live together. So because they're together, I'm sure it comes up even in unexpected moments. So they've probably had those conversations. But with David being a little more outside of that, I don't think he probably has been able to have those conversations with them.
Yeah.
And so this being the first time, you know, really deep diving into that, you could tell it was hard, but he needed to.
Yeah, and you could totally tell afterwards that everybody felt like there was a weight lifted, because they haven't talked about this in a really long time, and it's, you know, it's a really serious thing. And I just thought it was great that the parents clarified for him, like, we don't blame you, you know. And even his mom said, you know, you were young, you were thinking about what young boys think about, and it's fine. I never blamed you. And I think that was really important for him to hear.
Yep.
And I love that part that they just showed that to the world, that they could get through this and that they didn't blame him. And that was huge for David, because that's part of the reason why he gained so much weight, because he was just holding on to that guilt and went to food to, you know, cover that up. Yeah,
I mean, he would hide and have like secret meals. And so I think even in that moment, it was his way of not only, you know, of course we watch people lose weight through these shows all the time, but I think that was lifting the weight of even the guilt that he felt. And I think it's going to bring their family closer. Because I think that honestly is probably why he had so much distance even with them. Because when you feel guilty about something, you don't want to be around the people who will continue to make you feel even more guilty, even though, of course, that was never their intention.
Right.
He put that on himself.
Yeah, I think that was really good. And I'm just excited for their family to just, like, you know, get it all out there and just move on. And I thought that was a really important part for David, and I'm glad that they showed that. Definitely.
And then we have to get to, it's always my favorite part, the finale.
Yes, the finale.
He looked amazing.
I thought the way that Chris just kind of like slid in there, because obviously we know that he had mentioned
He's a slickster.
He's going to propose to her at the finale, and you know Chris is on stage talking about his transformation, and then he's like, but the one person that's really been by his side has been Kayla, so it's only right if Kayla's standing next to him. I was like, oh, you're sly, Chris. That was a good transition to get her on stage.
I wonder how Chris proposed to Heidi.
Ooh. That's a good question.
We got to find that out.
Yeah.
Because he seems like he's a charmer.
I'm sure it was super romantic and amazing.
It was probably in the gym.
Their whole relationship.
It was probably in the
Probably
gym.
was in the gym. He was like,
Bench
lift these
pressing.
weights. And on the barbell, there's like a little ring dangling down as she's doing a little set.
That's going to be our homework. We're going to find that out for you guys,
Yes.
figure out how Chris proposed to Heidi. But I thought it was amazing. He went up and he's like, I've got something, got to take some stuff out of my pocket.
Before the weigh-in.
Before the weigh-in.
Yeah.
And then he popped out the ring.
Yeah, it was a perfect moment. I loved how he said that. He was like, okay, I'm about to get on the scale, but I have to empty my pockets. That's extra pounds right there. And he pops out with the ring. It was an awesome ending to his transformation. I loved it. It was a perfect ending.
And her face just lit up the room.
Yeah.
And the family and just everybody. It was a really great, we had two victories.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the finale, which was awesome.
I screamed out loud when I was watching it.
You always scream out loud. Which is fun.
I'm such a sucker.
But he started off at 413 pounds. His goal, he said he wanted to at least hit a solid 200 pounds, which would put him at 213. And he actually surpassed his goal by 1 pound.
By 1 pound, 201.
So
Yeah,
he
it
got
was
down
awesome.
finally got down to 212 from 413. So once again, he lost half of himself.
Yeah, he looked great. The finale was perfect. I loved how, at the end, they always hand off the extra boot camp. What is it? The
week for boot camp at the Anschutz Wellness Center.
Right, and that he gave it to his mom. And I think we both mentioned for the first time we felt like the mom didn't know. I feel like the friends do have an idea that he's going to give it to him. But his mom really seemed shocked, like she didn't know about it. And she was really grateful. You could just see it in her reaction when he handed it to her. And I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
I see their whole family just like working out together. And I think it's actually cool that he's a chef because, yes, of course, he can make whatever the heck he wants. But I think because he's a chef, he's very conscious of food and what's in it and all these different things. So I bet you he's going to come up with some really like creative things that he knows he can eat within his nutrition plan that'll be really good and yummy.
Yeah.
He should have like a nutrition cookbook. I'm just saying, David, I would get it.
Right?
You know?
I would get it too. Cool. That's definitely a pro for him. But yeah, what I love the most about this show is just like you said earlier, it's not just about losing weight. I love that Chris and Heidi like really change people's lives. Such a motivational show. I love it because it's so much more than just losing weight. Obviously, these people have things that are really serious in their lives. And at the end of the show, you see like a whole new person, not looks-wise, but heart-wise, mentality-wise. They're changing people's lives.
Yeah.
Like giving them a brand new life to just live better and live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
That's why I love this show so much.
We do. It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah, that's for sure. Anxiety. Every week. Thank you very much. Extreme weight loss. My heart.
Every week.
All the time.
I can't take it.
I know.
But yeah, we do take it because we come back every Tuesday. Yeah. But so yeah, I mean, I think that David's going to be on his way. What do you think is in store for David?
I think David's going to be maybe UFC. I think I would hope that he would get back in the ring and do UFC.
That'd be cool.
Right now, he's an awesome chef already. He's engaged, so wedding bells, of course, he's going to get married. And I'm excited to see their new relationship. It's a whole new life for them. So he's going to be this awesome chef, and he's going to have an awesome wife.
I love it.
And he's going to keep the weight off.
Of
hands
course.
down.
Him and mom. And then I think he's going to help mom too. The whole family is going to be looking fit and fabulous.
I'm really excited for next week, too. We saw a little sneak peek about Brandy. What do you think about her?
Yeah, we got to get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I love the lights.
I'm a fan of, you know, pageant girls. Love it. And so I love that she's a former pageant queen. And so just to see where she is now, from where she came from, I think it's going to be a really interesting episode.
Yeah, my first reaction was like, oh, she's so beautiful.
She's gorgeous.
She's absolutely gorgeous. And I think it's awesome. We're going to see Miss America 2014 on the show. So I think it's going to be a really fun episode. I'm just excited to see her transformation. Gorgeous girl, pageants. There's always drama though when it comes to pageants, though. Always
I expect
drama.
lots of glitter and
Hairspray.
razzle dazzle. Ooh, and hairspray.
And attitudes a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe.
Have you ever seen Toddlers and Tiara? That's a whole nother AfterBuzz show right there.
Yeah, it is. But hopefully she gets the crown of victory.
I like that. That was good. That was good, Morgan.
Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Of course, I'm Morgan Martin. You can check me out on Twitter or Instagram at ms_Morgan Martin.
And I'm Jackie Powell. You can find me on Instagram at Jackie_POW or on Twitter at Jackie with 2 E's _POW.
And tune in next Tuesday for another episode of Extreme Weight Loss AfterBuzz Edition.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.